Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim Rakag Radash, and double honors to the head apostles of the great millstone that have taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai, and double honors to the head apostles of the great millstone that have taught me what I know, and including the bishops on down too. And Yahweh Bashim Shai Brakatham to the 144,000, the sincere believers, and including the sincere among us that follow, the 1/3. And I just want to do this real quick in regards to Putin's words that he gave in giving his speech. And before you go into anything, you gotta see if it's officially real news, because you got a lot of BS out there, so you gotta check out things and just be more prudent. But this is big news. Basically, Sky News has picked it up, Daily Mail has picked it up, and also it's understandable that you have Western media outlets that are there to pose a narrative, because right now, as it stands nowadays, the narrative is that Russia's the enemy. But he actually said what he said in regards to making a threat, which it isn't really a threat. It was basically a warning that if y'all continue to fight in Ukraine to the point where y'all want to take it over, because I've also checked out the news on what Stoltenberg was saying, which was the chief of Jens Stoltenberg, his name is, which he's the chief of NATO, and he made mention of that eventually Ukraine is going to join the NATO group. And there's certain areas that Russia runs in Ukraine. So if that's the case, then that's automatic war right there and there. All right. So anyway, let's get into it. Putin says NATO is preparing to attack Russia and warns aggression risks nuclear conflict. Russia must be properly protected after the expansion of NATO to include Sweden and Finland. Vladimir Putin has said in an annual State of the Nation speech, NATO forces are preparing to strike our territory. He claimed, but he warned any such move, including sending troops to Ukraine, could trigger the use of nuclear weapons. And just like I've mentioned in speaking about this particular topic in regards to Vladimir Putin and Russia, of course, is that he would have to be in the right to defend his nation. If forces are threatening a country and its people, then it's in the right of the king of those people to prepare the people to fight back. Okay. So now let me continue to read some more here. Where was I? Yeah. So anyway, it reads, he was referencing an idea floated by French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday of NATO members sending ground troops to Ukraine, a suggestion rejected by the US, Germany, and UK. Western nations must realize that we also have weapons that can hit targets on their territory, Mr. Putin said. All this really threatened a conflict with the use of a nuclear weapons and the destruction of civilization. Don't they get that? Right. And the reason why they're pushing the bear, or let me just use another word, they're poking the bear, using a tactic, provocation, to respond and react to get what they want, which is a full-blown war. Really, it's really the spirit of the Heavenly Father that's doing this, man, because this kingdom, this global system that we're under, which is influenced by the West, is going to be taken out. And the scriptures elaborates on how this system is going to be taken out and destroyed. And it's going to be by the third woe, which is going to come quickly. But prior before that, there's going to be other prophecies that needs to to take place first before this full-blown war goes out. So I just want to read Matthew 24 and verse, I think it's verse 26. 24 and verse 6. So this reads, "And ye shall have wars and rumors of wars, seeing that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be a famine, and pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places." So we're all, of course, experiencing all of this right now, proving that we're in a time of the second return of Yahweh Shai, which is very important to us, those that believe in this thing sincerely, that take this thing very seriously, But the thing of it is, the end is not yet. So even though we're hearing wars and rumors of wars, we're not to be troubled, because these things must shortly come to pass. All right. But the reason why I read that scripture is again to say that the MOTB prophecy must come to pass first before anything happens. Really what this shows you how close we are to the initiation of the implantable device being made mandatory on a global scale. Now, we don't know where it's going to start, but I'm quite confident, because it's the mark of the you-know-what. It's going to start exactly where the beast came from, and that is in Europe. And then it's going to work its way up countries all around, and especially towards America, that implantable device. So those are the things that have to come to pass first, and including we have to make mention of Jacob's trouble, and the persecution of the prophets and stuff like that. So let's just say, of course, if all of this happened way before all of that, as I've mentioned, is going to happen, then there would be no room for them prophecies to come. So that would then have to happen first. The persecution of the saints in the time of Jacob's trouble, which has to come, and in that same trouble, the implantable device has to be made mandatory, which will bring in the time of the temptation, which will try the world. That's in Revelations chapter 3. Chapter 3 and verse 10. "And because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all of the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." So again, what's going to be tempting the world? Let me see what the term world is. I believe it's onclimony, if I'm correct. Let's see. Yeah, onclimony, exactly. So it means the whole planet Earth in this case. So everybody's going to be tested. Now, is every country going to get down with that implantable device? No. It's going to be beginning with key countries first. That's going to begin that initiation of the implant. But then eventually, once major nations correspond with that technology, then the rest of the world that haven't will begin to do the same eventually. It's just in a matter of time. But ultimately, wherever Jake is at, which is primarily in the major countries around the world, they're going to be tried. All right. And those that have the words of the Lord, that believe on the words of the Lord, they're going to be delivered, which is also mentioned in the book of Jeremiah. Let me see. I think it's Isaiah, man. 33. Yes, Isaiah 33 and 6, if I'm correct. Isaiah 33 and 6. Yeah, so this reads, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and the strength of salvation. And the fear of the Lord Yahweh is his treasure. So how does one fear the Lord? By the word. So by the fear of the Lord, as it is written, we persuade men. Hence, this is why we go out and we teach the word of the Lord. Because we know that the fear of the Lord will be brought upon the face of the earth like none other. And, that fashion is going to come all the way back on the planet Earth. Every nation, and including the Israelites first and foremost, are going to know that they're going to have to fear the Lord this time around, because we ain't trying to go back to experiencing death again like we're experiencing right now. And we don't want to fall into the hands of the Lord. As that's written, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. That's in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, if I'm correct as well, verse 30, I think it's 2, man, or maybe 36. Let's see what happens. Oh boy. Yes, 31. Hebrews chapter 10 and 31. Let me see what I can do here. Yeah, let's read this actually. Let's read verse 30. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 30. For we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth unto me. I will recompense, which means to pay back, say of the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. Right. The Lord is going to provide the rest of our people with a terrible judgment. And there's going to be good judgment unto those that fear him. But in this case, we don't want to fall into that terrible judgment. Oh no. So let's read 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. All right. So that's why we don't want to draw back into this thing, as this reads too, just to get to the point. Oh yeah, let's read this as well, because this connects with what I just read in Revelations 3 and 10. Now the just shall live by faith, and also Isaiah 33 and 6. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. Including Luke 9 and 62 as well. No man having put his hand to the plow looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, meaning destruction, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. So we have to continue on with this word. No matter how dire it's starting to get for us, experiencing being in this world and believing in this truth, we have to keep moving forward. There's no space to look forward. There's no such thing as looking back. All right. The only place that we can go is the place forward. That's it. And there's too much things going to happen on the earth for us to look back anyway. All right. Vladimir Putin just, I believe it was today, or maybe it was yesterday, could have been today, but he gave a warning to NATO that if they continue to make any other moves in trying to capture Ukraine, then basically there's going to be a reaction to that, because basically Ukraine is nothing more than little Russia anyway. So if there's any nuclear strikes in that area, then Vladimir Putin is going to allow his military to get down the same way on the back of Western borders. So it's starting to get real hot. But as I'm going to say, it's only by and by, because the mark of the beast has to be installed first. They might take the video down because I use that terminology. But anyway, that's all I have to say. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai Bashem Rakah HaKwadash. And with that, I am out. Shalom.